right, so what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to another insane story. So this story actually takes place back in high school, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this story gets really insane. I remember it all starts off back in high school, my grade 11 year, and in grade 11, I was a pretty basic guy, I won't lie to you. Like, don't get me wrong, I've done a lot of the Devil's Tango, but I remember one time specifically, I was hanging out with a group of friends, and all my friends were all hanging out, just chilling on their phones and stuff. We were all playing video games. Actually, fun fact. Anyways, after a while, I remember I stood up and I told my friends, yo, guys, we should actually do something today. Like, we can't just sit here all day and do nothing. And then my buddy ended up standing up saying, yeah, I mean, like, we can go to like this cool place. There's supposed to be like a really cool car meet. Do you guys want to go to it? And don't get me wrong, I love cars. Like, if you guys don't know, I used to have a Toyota Celica GT back when I was in high school, and that thing was my baby. And I remember basically, I really loved going to car meets because it's really cool seeing a bunch of different cars. So I remember me and my friends, we all decided to meet up together and meet up at the park after school and basically all go to this car meet. I remember after school came along slowly, and basically from there, me and my friends were all talking to each other, hanging out, and basically walking around looking at really cool cars. Now, for some reason, a lot of people in my town in Vancouver have like a Mazda 3, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty base model car. Like, I don't see no flex in it. Sorry to all the kids who drive a Mazda 3 thinking they're cool kids. But I remember we just saw a bunch of those, and there was one guy with a GTR, and there was a bunch of other different types of cars. But I remember as we were walking around, I got really bored and I ended up going to the Tim Hortons that was nearby. By the way, if you don't know what Tim Hortons is, basically it's like a cafe or like a Starbucks, but it's Canadian. It's a very cool place. By the way, Tim Hortons, please sponsor me. I would love, you know, an ice cap, you know. Anyways, sorry about that. Going on with the story though, I remember basically as I was walking to Tim Hortons after looking at a bunch of cool different cars, I remember I ended up ordering an ice cap and I started waiting. And as I was waiting, I remember there was a girl that was kind of near me, but at a pretty far distance, and she seemed really nervous and pretty shy. And it was pretty obvious as well that she definitely wasn't from around my town, because, like, you know, it's pretty recognizable, like, who's who. So I remember I kind of looked at her, and then I ended up walking up to her saying, hey, like, are you okay? Like, do you need help with anything? I remember she looks at me and says, oh, no, I'm fine. I'm just here looking at the car meet, and that's really much it. And then I remember I basically looked at her and said, oh yeah, like, I'm here for the car meet as well with like me and a bunch of my friends. We're just like, you know, hanging out looking at cars. Did you drive here? Oh yeah, I just like drove my car down. It's nothing crazy. And when she said that, I won't lie to you guys, I thought it'd be the perfect time to flex my Toyota Celica for some reason. So I'm like, oh yeah, like I drive the Toyota outside, like right there. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Here are the keys, you know, it's pretty nice. I can like drive you there after if you want, if you don't want to, like, you know, show off your car. And then for some reason, I remember she looks at me, she literally giggles and then says, oh yeah, like here are my keys to my car. I drive the Lamborghini just down the street there. And when she said a Lamborghini, I remember my eyes opened wide and I looked over across the street where she was pointing at, and I literally saw it. She had like this pink, really cool, awesome, brand new Lamborghini. Now at this point, I'm like, wait, you said you had like a normal car. You have a Lamborghini? Oh yeah, like my parents got it for me for Christmas. And like, you know, it's all right. It does the job. It does the job. It's a Lamborghini. I remember I ended up saying that to Tim Hortons and everyone just started staring at me, and she did get kind of embarrassed. So I remember I ended up just, you know, apologizing. And then finally the ice caps came in and me and her started walking together. And I remember when we walked together, we ended up walking up to her car and I got to see the Lamborghini firsthand. It was so beautiful. And I remember she let me sit in it, and oh my goodness, please Lord, one day I want a Lamborghini. Like, it was one of the coolest things ever. Afterwards, I remember I got into my car and she got into her Lamborghini, and basically we ended up driving to the car meet. We ended up parking our cars together and we basically started walking around together, talking about cars and having a good time. I won't lie to you, she was a car girl, and car girls are one of the coolest things ever, because, you know, usually girls that go to car meets are usually the ones that are just weirdos, and then there's girls that actually know about cars and actually show up with a really nice car. And basically I remember when me and her walking around, she knew actually a lot about cars and she was really interesting. But one thing I realized was that she was really flirting with me a lot. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have a Lamborghini or anything, but you know, when she made cute comments like, oh my goodness, Bubba, you're so cute. Oh, Bubba, really? You're so sweet. You know, it kind of made me like, you know, happy to know that, you know, even though I don't have a Lamborghini, I could still pull women. Because, you know, I'm the master of doing the Devil's Tango. Anyways, I remember like 40 minutes into this car meet, I ended up getting kind of bored, and me and the boys, well, to be honest, I kind of just ditched the boys at that point because there was no point of me hanging out with the boys if there was a chick there with a Lamborghini that I was hanging out with. So I remember me and this girl, we ended up deciding to leave the car meet, and basically we ended up going for a drive. I left my car at the car meet because, you know, I'm not going to drive it and no one's going to take it if I lock the door. So I remember me and her, we ended up going for a ride in her car, and basically I was showing her the town. You know, I was just trying to be that nice guy trying to show her the city, you know what I mean? Because, you know, I'm a city kid and, you know, it's just kind of a flex. And then I remember as we were like driving around and stuff, she ended up turning her head and asking me, Bubba, are there like any nice views out here? Like anything really nice we can like look at? And I knew the perfect spot. And yes, I took her to the spot where I usually hook up with girls when I take them out of my car and do the devil's tango. And basically, I remember I ended up taking her to this really nice viewpoint that was in my town. When I took her there, I remember me and her, we just first sat and just started watching the view, and we were just basically watching the sun go down. It was really romantic and stuff. And to be honest, I wasn't really watching because I was in a Lamborghini, so I was mostly just looking at the interior because those cars look like airplanes, dude. Like they look so cool. And then one thing led to another. I remember this girl kept flirting with me, tried to come close to me, and then yeah. Now, if you guys don't know, Lamborghinis don't have back seats unless you get like the SUV version, but she didn't have that. She had just a normal 2-seat Lamborghini. So I remember she ended up basically, you know, making out with me, hopping on top of me on my seat in the passenger, and we ended up doing the devil's tango. We literally did it in a Lamborghini. Like, I don't know what to tell you. This was like one of the coolest experiences ever. To say I've done it in a Lamborghini, like, dude, the day has come, ladies and gentlemen. But anyways, it was a really tight squeeze and it was pretty awkward, but it still got the job done. And honestly, it was really cool. But I remember we were there for like another 20 minutes or so, and the funniest thing happened where a cop ended up driving behind the Lamborghini and parking its car. And literally the cop ended up walking up to the window, looking inside and seeing me and her. And I remember when the cop ended up coming behind, she literally hopped off me as fast as she could and ended up sitting in her car, turning on the Lamborghini, and like the engine was really loud to the point where the cop turned on the sirens, came up to her window and asked for a driver's license. Luckily, she didn't get a ticket or anything, but she did get a warning, but it is what it is. Anyways, after that, I remember me and her, we ended up driving back to the car meet, and basically everyone was basically gone. It was just my car left alone in the parking lot. And basically she dropped me off and said, hey, like maybe we should like hang out again sometime. I ended up telling her I'm down, and yeah, that's basically it from there. I ended up getting her Snapchat, getting all this cool stuff, and afterwards I didn't really talk to her again. But that is basically it for today's story. Make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Seriously, means a lot when you guys do. And on top of that, thank you so much once again to Raid Shadow Legends for this awesome sponsor video. Anyways, like I always say, fall for more embarrassing stories. Peace out, guys.